Hello, and today we were playing Moontouched. This came out back in August. I don't know much about it, but there's going to be a lot of nudity in this VN. So just be warned. This game is intended for mature audiences. Depictions of explicit gay sexuality, mature themes, and non-gratuitous wounds, blood will be present. You must be 18 or older to play. Welcome to the demo. Certain keywords will be highlighted throughout the dialogue. So you want to deepen your understanding of the lore or need a refresher, simply hover over the term and a tooltip will appear. This slice of the game is roughly the first third of the first chapter I will tell. This novel will follow the experience of a human protagonist as they prepare body, heart, and mind for a deeply erotic and spiritual ritual that will see them transform into a werewolf, a great and sacred honor in the world they are a part of. This story will feature 5 possible ritual love interests, each with their own stories and relationships to explore. There will not be set routes in the traditional sense. Rather, the player will choose among the lot who they spend time with during each day as the story unfolds. Certain actions as well as how often an individual character is chosen will affect your affinity with that character, progressing their story and deepening your bond. There is no set outcome for these lads. Their hearts can be broken, they might fall in love, or they can simply fulfill their duty and assist the player in their final ritual. It's up to you. The scars of the past lie upon the lands and in the hearts of men and wolves. Truth lies buried. Ancient forces begin to steer. Do you have the strength to push forward, to push beyond what you think is possible, to give yourself to a longing beyond your kin? I hope you enjoy your time with it. Let it begin. In the deepest chambers of every heart, there lies a void, an endless well of black that yearns and ties a great hunger. Come up, we have to keep. When watch the eroded edge, deep within the soul, most cower in awe at its expanse, brought to their knees by its pinning and left to flee back to the surface, where the hunger's but a whisper. Mama, where that? I can't see him anymore. Some find contentment in feeding this void of longing with what they can find, with the sweetness of love, the passion of love, with blood, with power. Yet still it finds us, still it pulls on us, so close, so primal. Don't you look back. Keep your eyes on. Perhaps in our avoidance of this void, we deny it the one thing it seeks to consume. A hunger that is only sated once we turn to face it, naked in its blackness. Mama, get up. Ma, we have to keep. Longing is a song of death, not to be fulfilled, not to be ignored. It is to be bowed down before and burned within its embrace. Mama, please, get up. Humbly breathing in its light. I wonder. Do the gods feel it too? Oh. My voice quivers and streams, made visible by the cold morning air. A dream. As I watch my words drift, though what little light pierces my tent, my hand glides up the warmth of my side, fingers rippling over the landscape of muscle and subtle bones until I find it. A scar as cold as the air of my parted lips rests upon my ribs and pull at the warmth of my palm. Before I slip deeper into contemplation, I hear a gruff voice below beyond the thin skin of my tent, a familiar voice calling my name. Selwyn, hey Selwyn, it's time we set out. You overslept. A great paw pushes through the leather flap, delivering a torn piece of bread now being held inches away from my face. A chuckle breaks the lingering haze of my dream as I take the bread from his loose grip, slightly warm from its time spent in his palm. Breathless, the paw begins to retreat into the warmth of the day before I speak up. What? Not gonna help me up? The reluctant paw halts and flops open. I grasp it firmly, knowing I'm about to be. Fuck, it's fucking cold out here. The young sun does little to soften the blow of the cold morning air hitting my skin. The hair on my limbs and chest rises in response as I reach for my clothes. Your fault for sleeping naked. Eat that bread down and pack your things. That's it, warm you up. And savor it. That might well be your last meal for a while. The sight of Anawam banishes the last lingering emotions that dream itched into my mind. We're set to converse with the Silver Bowls party on the southern pass today. Many moons ago, the people of Wood grew their society into three distinct branches: the Sister Bowls, emerald, silver, and white. Silver Bowls signs bright through its skilled Moontouched who scoured the realm over in hopes of unearthing long-forgotten truths. It's been, 5 years since we've seen our sister tribe. Six since the River Festival. Right, gods, the River Festival. I can hardly remember that night. I certainly can. I glare at him through a smile, and his tail slightly tucks, a sign his memory will return to him. Had to drag your drunken ass home. We couldn't even make it to your mat before you brought us both to the floor. Huh, that was fun, I think. You weren't exactly sound and sober yourself there, pup. I woke up to you curled up next to me. Took me a few baths to get all that drool out. Yeah, you made for good enough bedding. Speaking of, they will get to. Yeah, well, you made for good enough bedding. Speaking of, they will get to set up camp before the moon rises. Should take us the better part of the day to get to the pass at our pace. From there, we'll descend into the canthorals. Should make it just in time for the opening ceremonies. A great crater nestled in the heart of the realm. A chalice holding ancient memories of times lost, when great spirits walked the earth. Now men and wolves alike traveling unto the sacred wind at the call of the moon to receive its bestowal and reverent duty. You might have to set up in the dark, but knowing you'll be awake for a while. I happily chew at the bread, the smoke of the Dow's fire, at the heart of our little encampment fluttering between us. He came to me in my dream again last night, just before you woke me. Did he now? Those will only get stronger as we draw closer to the wind, still an auspicious blessing. A great crater nestled in the heart of the realm, a chalice holding ancient. His large paws began to place a collection of tools and provisions back into his worn leather pack. Flakes of bread crust fall from his knife as he sees it before slipping it in alongside what I presume to be the rest of the loaf wrapped in old lining. And what did he show you? That night, his paws hesitated for a moment midway through his motions before steering again, his calm eyes unchanged. It was almost a memory. The black trees piercing the snow, the fading warmth of her arms, it's already slipping away. The motion was soft, though. Then from the blackness he emerged. The trees began to twist and felt like smoke. I felt warm. Perhaps it was a memory after all. I let his words hang for a moment. His voice sounds heavy and reflective. I do remember a wolf approaching that night. Yet the last time I checked, you're not a deity. Unless you're the weeping wolf incarnate, and you've been a better liar than I thought. The great bestial spirit of frost, who spurned his maker, cast a land in ice in the final attempt to save mankind long ago. In the waning days of the wending war, banished to the chill of the moon, for his transgressions he forced the tether betwixt beast and man, giving form and divine covenant unto those sacred Moontouched, that he might walk the earth once more through their eyes. I break my sight away from his smirk to eye his tail gently gliding across the ground, wet leaves and mouse tails, twigs clinging to it briefly. Alas, I am not he, and you're lucky for it. One might wonder if divinity itself would be enough to humble the likes of you. Hey now, I'm only disrespectful towards you. I'm touched. We saw a light laugh in the rising sunlight. Under me, save you that night, not I. He led me to you and your mother. When I found you, you were all but ice. He glances at piercingly white eyes, meeting mine before they fall upon my scar. The mark he left is as much a blessing to your soul as it is a curse unto your life. For you to awaken as the moon cold, it is similarly my greatest source of pride and perhaps my deepest well or fear for you. Young human men who upon hearing the call of the weeping wolf resonating through their souls, undertake a pilgrimage to the sacred lands of the Conthros to surrender their humanity to their lunar maker. Animum, you know as well as I that the call pulls at me. I can do this. My body feels strong enough. If Orderman did save me that night, then he guides me yet again unto the Conthros to meet those called and changed before me, and to become Moontouched in turn. Just as you did. I know, Soren. I've known this day would come, though I never realized how quickly it would arrive. He clears his throat gently and rises with his pack and paw, slinging it over his shoulder and adjusts its position to better fit across his broad back. I see the fire in you is strong. That's good. You'll need it for what's to come, but for now, you're still a pup, one that's holding our journey at port. Pack your things. I smile and offer him a grateful nod before turning back towards my tent, the leather flap now warm in my hands. Soren. When I turn back around to face him, his eyes have a whisper of sadness in them. Did he speak to you? No, he didn't. Just fix his eyes on me. Just fix his eyes on mine as the dream began to tear around us. First thing I heard was you calling my name. Anoam gives a silent nod before returning to his preparations. It takes just a few moments for me to collect my things together. We packed as light as possible for what has already been nearly 2 weeks on the road. I forced my now rolled tent into my pack alongside my cherished deerskin mat before pushing my hand deep into the pouch on the side, fingertips searching for an old friend. There you are. Warmth seeps into my fingers as I pull out the familiar stone from its nightly resting place. Its smooth black surface glints slightly in the light. I bring it to rest against my scar, the warmth spreading across my ribs and the ambient pain I've learned to live with, quelling in its gentle glow. I'm surprised that still soothes you, most of its quality would have long since lost its magics. I wrap a thin linen bandage across my torso, making sure to secure the stone in place at the heart of my scar. Well, I suppose I truly am blessed then. It has begun to fade, but it still keeps me warm enough, still grateful for it. Everyone smiles warmly, probably feeling proud of the gift he gave me many moons ago as I pat at my side happily. Maybe we'll find another in the Carthros for you. Come on then, we've a long day ahead of us. I don't know, what is our way? Anawam takes care to spread what's left of the wet ass and fading embers before unceremoniously turning to leave. I can't help but steal one last lingering look at the small campsite that houses for the night before shifting my gaze out onto the wide wilderness lying naked before me. My heart quivers slightly. We're nearly there. For as tired as my feet have become on the long road Adam and I have taken, I can't help but feel they are strengthening anew today. Tonight will mark the beginning of the moonfall ceremonies, the beginning of the end of my simple humanity. In our spiritual celebration dedicated to the rituals that transform chosen men into Moontouched rules, once the lunar rules divine the next moonfall, moon-called humans and moon-touched wolves from every creed and clan converge on the hallowed lands of the Carthros to partake in this reverent celebration. Anawam takes the wind, and I, as we walk along the canyon ridges, down over dry riverbeds and through old groves. Good. And what is Osiris? A small blue flower found along the creeks that weave through the forests of the Carthros, not found outside the sacred wind. Its use. He's filled these 2 weeks with a near constant flow of trials and tests that echo the training I've undergone the past 5 moons. Osiris is a blessed flower to the Tian clans of the eastern coast. Their druids utilize it to alleviate the pain induced by ritual bonding with a Moontouched. Wolves and men who listen to the call of the tides form the Tian clans. They dwell along the eastern shores of the realm, where the drumming song of waves upon rock and shore is ever present. The great medicine men and wolves among them, known as druids, are celebrated for their profound spiritual wisdom and guidance. Blessed beings who, upon the consummation of their training and rituals during the moonfall, granted spiritual audience with the weeping wolf. No longer merely men, these blessed ones clad themselves in earth's in element, forming a body of fur and fang in service of the great bestial spirit. Oh dear me. Good. That That is its most relevant use, though it has other more practical reaches as well. And what of thermic vines? By now, I've learned the art of absent-mindedly answering him to his satisfaction, allowing my mind to glide over the foreign landscape stretching out around us. Thermic vines are also endemic to the wind, normally poisonous until boiled with a blend of other medicinal herbs. It produces an altered dreamlike state of consciousness that is usually profound or spiritual in nature. My eyes flutter along the trail as I drone out the answer. A landscape of autumn wildflowers and fallen trees hugs at the animal one we follow. Such a bounty our world holds. These lands I've longed to walk but never dared to dream that I would. I find myself amidst an almost overwhelming union of bliss and wonder along with a subtle sadness. I am bound to the trail behind the towering wolf as he leads us through these unknown worlds. Yet in my heart I yearn to spend days and weeks in some of these places, drinking deep of their novelty and untapped prosperity. The bowls are all I've known since anyone brought me to them in the thawing break of that cold night. A case of trunks and canopies, beautiful and confining. A fragment of my dream this morning glanced through my mind, only to be replaced by a gentle gratitude. I owe much more than my life to Ordine, the weeping wolf. By his call, I am walking this unknown soil, the doors to my cage flung open far behind me. Several hours of silence passed as the path we walked became more tedious and challenging to navigate. I looked up to see Anawam turn back towards me. With his pack resting against a fallen tree, he waved to me before unfastening his cloak and laying it upon the back of the trunk. By the time I reached him, the wolf was sitting comfortably in the shade, patting his empty water skin. Finally caught up, that last mile was a bit rough. So says the man with trunks for legs and hardened paw pads. I draw in a breath and look around us for the first time in a while, realizing just how different this land is sculpted from where we began the day. The forest is beautiful. It's as if the land fights against the weight of the trees piercing the ground for sunlight. I hop from rock to rock with a confident stride. Poetic. It's said these lands bore the weight of a thunderous battle in the waning days, and the great spirits, the scars of that. From the primordial bones of the earth, the Maker forged 7 vessels, each imbued with an aspect of creation: flame, frost, wood, storm, stone, tide, and life. These 7 truths manifested as the great spirits, and their will shaped the flow of life on the planet for Khans. However, harmony among the aspects faded over time, and with it, the spirits themselves. The jutting rocks and crumbling ruins scattered across the forest floor seemed to soak up this newfound insight right before me. We tread along the earth's ancient scars, pausing for a moment in appreciation. I sling my pack down to my feet and move to sit beside the wolf. Before I can, his huge tail snakes around from behind him and occupies what's left of the broken trunk. Here, pup. I know him extends his paw towards me, pointing at my empty water skin and the wooden cap hanging by an 8 milkweed cord. A stream flows nearby, and now is a good time for a rest. I feel you growing cold, and I'm in the mood for some tea. I'm surprised your senses are as keen as they are for a wolf of your age, brother. I can't hear the stream myself. Perhaps when you stop panting, you'll hear the flow of the water. It's down the valley there. I can go for us. You can rest your weary paws, old man. Another attempt to get at least some kind of rise out of him. And here I've been nice by calling you aging ass pup. Are you sure you're up for it? I figured you could start the fire while I fetch the water. I'm not quite ready to just. I'm not quite ready to rest just yet. You both know you're better at starting a flame anyways. I put my pack away with my foot and approached the wolf, scanning his gear for the other skin he carries. Alright, if you feel you're up for it. I am. The thought of the cold water on my feet is all the convincing I need. Just be careful out there. I whistle if you need me. I give him a mildly disheartened look. He still doesn't fully trust me. Better to err on the side of caution is all I'm saying. The stream isn't far. He nods his head back to the thick woods. I take the skin from his rough paw before kneeling to gather my own, then sift over to Animal's pack to untie the third empty skin from its side. Understood? Perhaps I'll stop panting just long enough to hear it. We share a playful smile before I head out. Before long, I hear the soft murmur of the stream beyond my sight, weaving through the crags and trees. Even now, I'm humbled by Animal's sharpened senses. Never has the magic faded from the moments where he reads my body to know where the chill on my scar begins to take hold. I wonder will a new world open before me in the wake of the ritual, like waking from a hazed dream? What will this forest look like through the eyes of a track? My eyes fixate on the sharp inputs dotting the earth that the fallen leaves left bare. I don't bother searching for the subtle deteriorations that tie leaves on a track more than a day or two old. These are fresh. My fingers push to the sides of the track lightly, moisture draws out of the walls as I prod. Very fresh, a few hours at most. I scan outwards from the first, sad as I lower the water skins down onto the forest floor. There. 4 digits, the altitude slightly fanning away from the center, a dour fox, perhaps a female, if I'm right. The tracks dance along, displaying the alert yet confident stride of a fox that knows these woods well, heading down to the stream for a quick drink. I get down low and follow along the indentations and displace debris, careful to not get ahead of the swelter. An abrupt pause and a timid step backward, something took her notice. A set slightly deeper than the others. Images of her crouching down low, her weight giving her time to sink down into the soft floor, dance across my mind's eye. She takes a few cautious steps forward, heading for the safety of a rock formation, piercing through the thin trees. I'm practically crawling now, stepping through the woods with my hands and feet, mimicking her steps with my own, my heart pounding as if it were I who was being hunted. A deep track tearing through the mud and moss sea makes a drastic pivot and a broken twig, a trampled fern. She's almost to the rocks, and then I stare at the last set, smeared and dragged across the soil, flailing violently. It's not until I look up in search of the predator's tracks that the abnormal silence of the forest dawns on me, save the pounding of my heart drumming inside the walls of my head. No bird song, though I see them mocking me from above, no whisper of the wind, though I see the branches playing. Ugh. The woods around me shatter in a flash that whips through my body. I crumble onto the floor, leaving my own marks on its skin. Worry floods my dimming heart, and my eyes begin to close, the air so thin. For the briefest of moments, a relief washes over me, thinking the fox somehow escaped their fate. until I noticed the sight of the forest through their ephemeral form, shifting like a reflection on water. What is this? My voice echoes and flows outside the boundaries of my body as if they were always just a suggestion. An attempt to lift myself from the ground is met with is met by what remains of the sense of my body falling away. The air vibrates with a low hum that's building, a distant thunder approaching at a sprint. Who the figure comprised of veils of light delicately enfolds its simmering arms around the fluctuating body of the fox. She feels at once familiar as an alien as the darkest stars in the distant night sky. Mother? I come to as the vision fades abruptly. The scent of pine and wet earth seeps into focus as I open my eyes. What the fuck was that? I pant for breath, clutching at my side, my scar sending waves of lessening pain through my bones. Sharp moments like these have struck me before, but never like this. Rolling over onto my back, I stare up at the canopy, dancing unperturbed in the breeze. I've never seen anything during an attack. Scanning the floor yields no trace of the fox where it stood before me, no tracks of a woman clad in flowing light. What nature of omen was that? The beauty of the vision's class against an unsettling feeling growing in my heart. Was that? Memories of her flood back to me, the feel of her skin, the flow of her skirt in the wind as I chase her, the fading melody of her voice eroding to the waves of time. It couldn't have been her. She's long out west. Worry starts to descend on my mind as I start to make sense of what I just saw. Lift? Damn it, why now? A memory flickers. Showing. I'm just concerned for you. Calm down. Annabelle blankets my shoulder with a paw and looks into my eyes as I let out a tired sigh. Annabelle, we can't afford to sit in the bows and wait for a day that may not come. What if I never improve? Who can say that I will? I am moon cold. I'll be ready. I must be. A demon howls to me, calling me to the wind, calling me to give myself just as he once called you. Annabelle stands silently for a moment before I'm pulled into an embrace, my face nestling into the thick fur of his chest. Sewing, being moon called is one thing, fulfilling that, calling is another. The ritual is as much a physical trial as it is spiritual. Even a healthy man's body would be pushed to its limits. You have to understand where I'm coming from. His heart beats through the thick muscle of his chest, slow and rhythmic. He's not awash in his emotions as I am in mine. And I respect that, as I do you, always. But I've been stable these past several months of training, and what happened today wasn't anywhere near what they used to be. Annabelle, I can't continue to wait. The seasons that pass are losing their colors in my heart. It feels like the roots of the boughs are closing in around me, and the air is growing still. I feel trapped. I'd rather follow this calling until my body gives way than to spend what's left of my soul waiting here. His broad jaw comes to rest on the crown of my head as his embrace tightens with a deep breath, pushing at me through muscle and fur. I hear you, Soren. I will never be a force in your life that binds you. I promise you that. Yet, still I worry. Will you allow me to come with you? I open my stinging eyes. Anyone, you would return to the Carthos for me? I had thought. A deep chuckle rumbles out in a series of pats on my back, keep me from finishing what he knew I would say. Life is a flowing river, brave pup, and it bends the width of change. I would be wise to follow it. I encircle my arms around his bulk, as though to hold us there in the fleeting warmth of that moment. Thank you. Damn it. No, I have this. A hollow assertion in the midst of doubt, but it's enough to get me back onto my feet. The skins are where I left them, some 15 paces back. With the pain largely quelled and no sign of fox, I gather the replenished water skins and begin to trace my steps back. It's not long before a familiar whistle cascades down through the valley and past me as I make my way up the hillside. The gentle bird song that had been humming through the trees halts for a brief moment, as if the birds were offended by the dissonance in their choir. Stopping on a rock perched high, I bring my clasped hands to my lips, the chill of the stream still clinging to them. Surmounting the west of the hill, I see Anawim on the bluff ahead, though not in the way I was expecting to find him. An abandoned pile of birds kindling and twigs laying at his feet, his warm cloak tied to his body by the sling of his pack. There you are. I was just about to follow your scent. The street wasn't that far. What took you so long? Impatient for that tea, are we? It's only been a handful of minutes. Probably 30 or so. You had me worried. That visit lasted but a moment to me. Could it have been that long? Animal looks down at me expectantly. What took you so long? I move in towards my pack, now resting at the ready against the fallen tree, crouching to secure the water skin to its side. I take a slow breath. He deserves a no. I had another attack. I clutch on my cold side as I look up to the wolf. His ears flick towards the canopy above, his eyes widen as he moves steadily, lowering his pack and kneeling beside me. I'm alright, really. It's just happened suddenly. One moment I was following a fresh fox track, and the next, I guess I must have lost consciousness for a while there. I feel his warm palms move my hand away and press themselves to my skin. The rough pads between rivers of soft fur, delivering their heat. Worry fills his eyes. I knew I should have gone with you. You're very cold here. He leans back to unfasten his cloak before wrapping it around me. His strong and familiar musk carries warmth into my lungs as the cloak settles on my shoulders. Animal, please. Truly, I'm alright. It was a fleeting moment of pain, or at least that's how it felt to me. I'm alright, really. It just happened suddenly. One moment I was following a fresh fox I'm alright, really. It just happened suddenly. One moment I was following a fresh fox track, and the next I guess I must have lost consciousness for a while there. I feel his warm palms move my hand away and press themselves into my skin. The rough paths between rivers of soft fur delivering their heat. Worry fills his eyes. I knew I should have gone with you. You're very cold here. He leans back to unfasten his cloak before wrapping it around me. His strong and familiar musk kills warmth into my lungs as the cloak settles on my shoulders. Animal, please, truly, I'm alright. It was a fleeting moment of pain, or at least that's how it felt to me. I can't tell him everything, the omen I saw. It would only frighten him more than he already is. Laying my hand on the outside his knee draws his eyes from where they were fixated on my scar up to meet mine. It hasn't lingered. I feel fine, save the coddling for when I really hurt myself. Anawam lets out a small smile, just strong enough to hold back his true concern. Please don't. A warm paw and a cloak won't be able to cover much more than this. I'm glad you're alright, though. Thank you for telling me, for your trust. I know my worry burdens you. Of course, thank you for holding yourself at bay this time and for the warmth. The tug of the cloak and Anawam exhales. His large shoulders loosen and relax. A few tail wags, and the leg to wet his nose tells me that he's mostly at ease again. Would that I had made a fire so we could warm you up properly when something's happened. Come and see. He turns tail and walks out towards the open sky. I follow and come to stand at the lip of the cliffside. See that over there? That's a barrier. His extended claw points towards a large dome comprised of fragile light fighting against a sun-soaked sky. By the moon, there it is. I didn't realize we were this close. Aye, we've come a long way. Now look there. A tall smoke signal rises on what looks to be a shoulder of the Carthos' halo. A slight tinge of green tints the base of the rising column. The Silver Bows party? What are they doing this far west of the halo? We spotted it, that's the question I've been pondering since it started to rise. They were meant to follow at the entrance to the southern pass until we arrived. Regardless, that signals for us. Are you well enough to travel out? We squint at the rising smoke as Anawam places a paw across my shoulders. Yes, absolutely. Let's not keep them waiting. I secure my gear and quickly tie the spare water skin onto Anawam's pack. My mind lingers on the vision I experienced amidst the pain, the fox, the woman. I touch the guilt towards me as I watch Anawam secure his pack and gesture at me towards the trail. Some truths are better held, at least for now. We made towards a fading signal at a strong pace. The absence of chatter from Anawam tells me that he's lost his own thoughts. What would make the Silver Bows party deviate away from the rendezvous location? Anawam walks briskly behind me, his fluctuating proximity setting the pace for us. I'm not sure. They'll have warriors among them, so it's doubtful a beast could sway the whole party off course. We both give way to silence, letting our imaginations settle on a similar possibility. Do you know these lands? No, I don't. This is my first journey into the southern reaches on the mainland, though it's known for its placid safety when held next to the north and the west of the wind. The southern pass is well established and maintained. And what of the east, your homelands? The eastern shores share in the safety of the south, though not for the absence of danger. Rather, the land itself keeps the clans they are fortified and secure. That's right, the great roots that the Tien call home. I wonder if I'll ever get to see them. It may be you find yourself pairing with a tidal wolf. I could see your temperaments aligning. Well, someone to calm you down. and looked back at the wolf who's happily smirking. If they're anything like you are, then if they're anything like you are, then they're most likely to provoke me. The levity of my tone protecting him from the full meaning of those words. Ah, but I am a man of the sea no longer. Kneel before my lunar coat and tremble beneath the depth of my wisdom. Exactly like that. Sir proposed mate come at me with such blatant disrespect for the truth. You and I may find ourselves making the long journey back home sooner than we thought. A huff of a laugh comes from the wolf. And what of lunar wolves? Can they see the moon cold? A loud cough reverberates from behind me. No, lunar wolves do not participate. They have to facilitate the ceremonies and offer spiritual guidance. Ah, alright, but say moon cold and the lunar wolf felt a strong bond, strong enough for a claiming? No, that is forbidden. He sounds sad. The vagueness of what I know of Anawam's life before he rescued me feels wide in this moment. Something happened to him back in the wind. Something he's not keen on giving words. I won't force us to stay here for his sake. Anawam, why did you choose the White Bows of all places for us to live? Why not return to your birthplace on the eastern shores? Once revered for its formidable martial force, the White Bows have maintained a distant separation from their sister branches for generations, ever since the echoes of their battle cries faded into silence. Finding solace in their serene seclusion, the White Bows clans comprised solely of humans, while Moontouched members chose to reside within the more interconnected Fang and Emerald Bows. Our lives have been saturated with the calm life of the Bows, and while you now yearn for experiences beyond it, it has served us well, and has offered us a peaceful life. That is why I chose the White Bows. I knew it would be soft for you, and for myself as well. I knew I would be. That is why I chose the White Bows. I knew. That is why I chose the White Bows. I knew it would be soft for you and for myself as well. That is why I chose the White Bows. I knew it would be soft for you and for myself as well. I knew I would need help in raising you, and the people there embraced us, both as if we were born under those canopies. In any case, you were in no condition to make a journey much farther than the White Bows, even if a better place had come to mind. By creed, the three sister bows, silver, white, and emerald, offer purity and isolation. Inasmuch as they are islands in truth, so too do they deserve so too do they serve a safe haven so do they serve as safe havens amongst the ceaseless flow of the world and its ever shifting traditions and interpretations. That is why I chose that shelter for you, for us. We have chosen over. Oh,
Library, tab 8 of 11.
that is why I chose the White Bows. I knew it would be soft for you, for myself as well. I knew I would need help in raising you, and the people there embraced us both as if we were born under those canopies. In any case, you were in no condition to make a journey much farther than the White Bows, even if a better place had come to mind. But creed, by equity, the three sister bows, silver, white, and emerald, offer purity and isolation, and as much as they are islands in truth, so too do they serve as safe havens amidst the ceaseless flow of the world and its ever-shifting traditions and interpretations. That is why I chose that shelter for you, for us. We have chosen otherwise. I hear you. My memories of growing up, and the groves are wild, and the groves are warm, filled with laughter and summer heat. I remember the magic of the harvest and you having to clean scraps of my knees almost nightly. Childhood in the white bowls was a daydream, really, but for that I'm grateful to the northern shores and back. Yet now, as a man, I've grown to doubt the secrecy and isolation of our people. Now that I am moon cold, I'm forced to walk towards my fate without knowing what lies in the history of these lands and its people. You taught me more than any other bow waits moon cold has likely known before the rituals, but still, why conceal a whole people away from the unfoldings of the world? Who benefits from such ignorance? Anduin thinks for a moment before his deep voice rings out. Heretor Eberron chose what he thought best for himself and those called to the way of wood when he created the bows, and as the other heritors have done for their people prior to and following Eberron. As to why his patience soaring, as to why I have patience soaring, a world beyond what you can imagine is about to unfold before you. Make sure to not cling too tightly to what you think you know. That was Arwan's wish for you, to offer that innocence in the face of truth. There have been times when I've questioned if flocking you in the abstinence of the bows was truly for the best, but then I look up upon you and I see the man you have become. Then doubt fades. A small flash burns for a moment in my chest, one of pride at having pleased him. I owe you much, Anduin, for the choices and sacrifices you made for us. You've been like a true father to me. The gentle patting of his footsteps behind me stops abruptly. Father. He hails in a tone that sounds at once hurt and playfully defiant. I fasten myself as more of a noble guardian or protector, and trusting my sacred insights upon the little want that life beckoned me to shelter. Moon's embrace. I'm too young to be a father. Anduin, you're what? 120 some sons? As I said, much too young. I still have my youthful vigor. I'm as spry as a yearling. Maybe you should have left me at the closest encampment after all. Anduin comes up alongside me in a jog. I draw to a halt to let the oath pass, expecting him to run ahead. Suddenly an outstretched arm wraps around my waist and lifts me off the ground. We spin as he slows to a walk, only releasing me when I start to slip towards his palm. His laughter bellows off of the cliffside wall and echoes throughout the canyon. Call me a father again and I'll make sure to toss you. I truly am grateful. An hour of increasing silence passes on the trail. I feel Anduin's trepidation growing as we near the faintly maintained smoke signal. Dark clouds gather overhead and the distant rumbling of thunder breaks the silence. Nearing what feels to be the source of the smoke, Anduin stops and pulls in a deep breath. We're here. Cresting the top of the summit, we see a scene of the small silver bowls party scattered around a large bonfire in the center of the clearing. 15 or so members, some tending to the smoke, some to their wounded fellows in the improvised camp, tattered pieces of torn cloth delivering blood into the soil. We're greeted by welcoming expressions dripping with relief, though it's unclear if it's on account of our safe arrival or for the recognition that their wait is over. Two warriors are quick to approach us, and the eager glint in their eyes and the joyful wagging of their tails are a relief of my own. Hail there, Anawam. I, the Grey Wolf host, and I, as the two grasp each other's forearm in greeting. Moons of light be praised. We have feared a bad omen had befallen you as well. The fatigued warrior gestures towards the makeshift infirmary across the clearing. Are you alright? What happened here? Aye, we're making do. It's a better tale for our matriarch to share. Come follow me. Matriarchs, the guiding voices of the clans, tribes, packs, and groves, stand as respected leaders among their people. These human women, especially within cultures like the Sistapos, wield the highest authority. They travel to the Catharos alongside their people, engaging in realm-wide deliberations to uphold peace and foster prosperous trade. We nodded the two warriors and make way into the settlement towards a small group of gathered members. As we pass by the wounded, I hesitate for a moment, and both two men and a woman are being treated. The woman lets out a meek cry as she attempts to stand on a heavily bandaged ankle. I'll see what I can do for them. Go on ahead. I take but a step forward before anyone's paw holds me back. They have healers of their own tending to them. There's not more you could do. Come, Amia awaits, and she'll want to see you again. He's right. What little I could offer has likely already been done. A nod while my sight endures their wounds, and a moment longer wondering what in these forests could have rendered so much carnage. Over the whispers and chatter of the camp, a familiar and imposing woman takes notice of us and approaches. And their wife, whole and hearty, Adam steps forward. The moon signs of these, and on you, sister. The two firmly press their hands against each other's chests, a greeting I'm not used to seeing that often. I'm relieved to find you heartier and well, though slightly less whole. What happened here, Amir? Not here. We were set upon at the entrance to the southern pass. There we exit. Aye, darkwood fiends, winged abominations descended from the cliffs above and took us unawares. Monstrosities of unknown origin, ever-changing form, pouring out from the frozen north, these creatures made of black wood and festering darkness claimed the lives of any unfortunate enough to cross that path, killing without cause. They neither eat nor sleep, and will drive themselves to dust rather than abandon its pursuit. What you see here on the fortunate ones. She gestures over to the nearby wounded. And one of the less fortunate. Her fierce eyes fall upon me, and I wonder if I've spoken out of turn. She stalls her reply, eyeing me as if for the first time. Two storm wolves from Alawan side came to meet us here, following the smoke signal as well. The Hersa, a militaristic society steeped in the art of combat, flourished in the rugged grasslands and perilous mountains of the western coast. Guided by their chieftain and matriarchs, the storm wolves direct their might against the darkwood fiends to the north and the hostile human forces across the sea. United in purpose and fierce in spirit, they stand as a bastion of strength against all who threaten the realm. They descended back into the wind with our two most grievously wounded. Waiting here, we have spelled their end. Anyone sits uncomfortably, visibly contemplating. Moon's embrace is as I thought then. Darkwood fiends south of the wind. I'm as surprised as you are, old friend, that they passed through Herser lands undetected is unusual enough, but the true question at hand is what called them here, and why now of all times. Regardless, you defended your people well then, that no one died on these sacred slopes. Aye, it was by Odirman's, by Odirman's grace that we escaped. Our warriors felled one of the fiends, and the remaining two set upon its corpse. Taking advantage of that, we fled westward, the way by the moon. Amia's eyes fall shut as she nods, her brow pensive in either grief for her wounded or anger at having been ambushed, maybe both. The weight of what befell them looms over us despite the jovial chatter of the camp, but not for long. We have much to discuss once the conclave gathers, but for now you are here, and that is well. So looks back at me with with an elongated exhale, indicative of her willingness to move to other matters. Who among us would have thought the little one before me would awaken at your dimness chosen? It's good to see you again. It's good to see you once again, Soren. A smile sits on her stoic face, giving it a warmth I hadn't seen yet today. Well now, don't call him that. Best he stays humble, for my sake not least of all. And you, Amir, it has been a long while, but chosen. I glance over to Animum. His eyes are keenly fixed on the matriarch. Animum, does this boy know his own importance? Her eyes narrow down on him as he lets out a gruff of disagreement. He knows what he must in order to undergo the moonfall rituals. Everything else is useless to him. Animum raised his paw through the air as if pushing the topper away from us. Fair enough. Well then, you are near the wind. Animum winks at me with an assuring smile. It's not enough to spare him interrogation later, but for now it will have to do. The southern pass is lost to us for now. The Star Wolves described an alternative route that lies near, the old trade road into the Carthos. It's much less favorable, but it will see us safe. Anthor's cock, Sowen? A sharp bellow splits through the camp from behind me, turning every head to the amber-colored wolves standing at bonfire's edge. I stare at the strange wolf in confusion before glancing between the only two faces I recognize in the moment. Animum looks unimpressed, but an aura of anger emanates from the matriarch at his side. The blasphemous wolf bounds towards us and... Sowen. He holds me there above the ground, laughing and allowing his tail to whip about. Amir swats it away from her with her sigh and turns to Animum. Come, let's leave the pups to play. We have more to speak of. The two turn to leave me in the clutch of this madman. Animum? All he offers is a flash of his brow and a coy smile before setting off. Well, fuck, look at you. Huh, hey there. He finally sits me down just long enough for my balance to be thrown as he pulls me into an embrace. You look so well, brother. I was worried for you. In the war of thunder, it comes to me, the rasp of his voice, the strength of his arms. Kirik? His embrace tightens before him. He pushes me away with outstretched arms. His hands remain on my shoulders, holding me before him while he drinks me in. It's been many moons, Sowen. And finally the third hit took it down. The others were quick to spear its wings to the ground, but just as they were able to, the two other things swooped down and started ripping apart the one we pinned. His arms flailed around in the air, acting out various throws and stabs with a spear. Strangest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. The wolf laughs, his coat saturated with the color of redwoods and pine needles, catches my eye. He is beautiful. Actually, no. Even stranger was how they looked. They were different from others you've seen before. Well, see, that's the first I've seen myself, but never have I heard that they could fly. Based on all the wide eyes and whispers around camp after we got to safety, something wasn't right about what we saw. What confused it for us were the two Herschel lads who stood up to the smoke. Should have seen the looks on their faces when we described the fiends to them. I listened intently. Stories of darkwood fiends are more myth than reality to me, but the fear behind Kubrick's eyes and easy laughs give a weight to the tale I've never tasted before. By their accounts, they took the shape of black wings, or at least something unnervingly similar. A small smile plays at his lips as he toys with the bark on the log we sat upon, chipping off small pieces with the tips of his claws. That's the wolves tame those, you know. Big fucking birds, black as night, and angry as those gold west fuckers from back home, right? You'll see them soon enough. The storm boys ride in on them to the wind. Though always a talker, he's shaken, and his quick tone and darting focus betrays fear. Thank the moon you're a white man. I reached over and slapped my palm. I guess it's sort of drawing a dry laugh and a big grin for the new wolf. Me too. Honestly, I'm so glad you're here. I knew you and the old grump were coming to intercept us, but after that fiend set, it's nice to see a familiar face, especially yours. Ha, good to hear. I wish I could say the same, but this is new to me. I turned my gaze from his face and down his fur-covered body. The gesture pointed enough to speak for me. Haha, you like? This body feels more like me than I ever did in skin alone. Come on, man, you have to say more than that. Huh? You're a fucking wolf. It's more than I could have ever imagined it to be. I'm stronger, faster, my senses are sharper, my hunger feels almost insatiable. But even colors seem brighter to me. Maybe that's a demons enjoying the sights, but either way, I'm alive in a way I had only dreamed about. All that time we spent playing wolves in the woods, all of it pales to what it actually is to be touched. My heart smiles for him, and for myself as well. The flame of excitement that's been building over the weeks of traveling burns hotter than ever in the glow of Kubrick's resonance. That sounds beautiful, brother, especially coming from you. I don't think I've heard you say something that's so contemplative in all our time together. He gives a few quick nods as his eyes roll playfully, his tail pulsing air against the backs of my hands as it wags. But faster, I care to put that to the test. I'm sorry, little pup, but your days of victory are over. And all it took was a little sacred come. Fancy that? There it is, that brazen irreverence. I was beginning to worry that a demon took that from you. Not a chance. I'm still me, just faster. It's just me a week. How's the old man? He didn't seem to be too pleased to see me. Animal, you think he recognized you? Oh, absolutely. Maybe not by sight, but he said, remember my scent. Scents are a pretty big deal for us, huh? He looked grouchy as always. I'll pay him no mind. He's growing a bit anxious as we've gotten closer to the Carthagos. I can feel his stress rising through his silence. I'd be stressed too in his place, the first lunar wolf to forsake the wind, returning at last after all that time. I pray it goes well for him. We both know he deserves to be there. We have to see. Breaking tradition like that doesn't just wash off your back in the next river bath. He'll have to answer for what he's done. Those lunar wolves don't fuck around. I paused for a moment in contemplation, now feeling a bit more worried for Animal. I sniffed the warming stone at my side as absentmindedly aligning it with the core of my scar. When I look up, Kira's staring at it. How's it been for you? You know, man, there are short moments, but for the most part, I've been fine. Animal's been preparing me for this for months now. He told me fables of men becoming wolves, their ailments wash away in the light of the moon. I think he's trying to give me hope. Personally, I'm not expecting that. Reaching up past his maw, my fingers brushed against the gap of his ear, a scar he earned when we were just boys, long before he became Moontouched. He offers me a sympathetic smile and leans his cheek into my hand. I'm surprised he even let you get this far. You have no idea how hard I had to work for it. Heh, oh, I have an idea. But yeah, you're a walking anomaly to a large of people on the moon. Touched by a demon himself, they say. Who could say what'll happen to you? Amir mentioned something of this. I didn't know I was to be expected here. Hey, now that humble shit. It's just like when we were kids, you know? I flinched the memory of our elders treating me like some kind of temple relic. My scar, a blessed mark. It was the two of you have been the talk of the camp the past few moons, at least. The renegade wolf and his grace pup. You're gonna be fighting off the hounds in there, all clawing at your chance to be the one to seed you. Keep talking now, turn back. My face grows warm in a flash. Hey, so you know I'm curious. What? The bastard knows what, but I'll be forced to say it. What was it like, the ritual I mean? You have to be a bit more specific there, lad. There are many rituals that take place during the joyous moonfall celebrations. The final ritual, the bestowal, you ask, what was it like? Getting fucked by a Moontouched, you mean? An embarrassed sigh is really all I have to give. Hurt like all hell at first. You go through some training to get you familiar with the sensations, but honestly, that training was good for shit all. It's more than you can prepare for. Hell, I thought all the times you and I played around would have done some good for me by last. I see. Perhaps my tone isn't as compliant with the jovial nature of his answer as I intended it to be, and he seems to take note of it as well. I get a firm pat on my back, weighty enough to push me forward a bit, but I can tell he pulled his strength. Don't worry, brother. You'll do just fine. The pain fades fast. There are so many things happening in that moment. Sensations of the body, emotions of the heart, racing thoughts of the mind. He tilts his head upwards and his eyes dance around, casting reflections of the shrouded sky above us. And then all of that fades in a warmth that's so tender so. He pauses, clearly experiencing his memory again, fresh at the moment. It's too much for words. You'll see it soon enough. With that, he pushes himself forward and off of the log, taking a few steps to slow his momentum, the tall grass wrapping around his large paws. You do look well, though, Soren. A bit sexy, even. Bill is good on you. His eyes roam slowly over my body, not even trying to hide his appraisal. Gods. I grunt and leap off of the log as well, coming to stand in front of the wolf. His stature looms over mine, and I'm suddenly lost in a moment of realization that this really is Kirik. Memories of our passing flicker through my mind like candlelight as I stare up at him, his skin pressed against mine, his green eyes half closed, our bodies thrusting against each other. Well, shall we get back? I'm keen to get into the wind. Yeah, we can head out. Just one more thing. What wind means. One time. Will you transform for me? What, here now? Suddenly he seems a bit sorry. I've never seen it done. Anyone does it self, and I've heard it's beautiful. I wouldn't mind my first sight of it to be you. I catch a glimpse of myself in his eyes as he stares down at me, my eagerness in full display. Yeah, okay. You just want to see my cock, don't you? I've seen every inch of you and have had a number of them inside me, too. He's turned to fluster. All right, give me a moment. I haven't gone back in 5 or 6 moons, baby. I watch as he fiddles with the straps around his chest, undoing each one and letting it fall to the flowers and grass beneath him. His belt falls away next, each layer slowly being peeled away to rest in the grass around his lower paws. At last he unfastens the tan cloth hovering his and tosses it to me. It carries a strong earthy musk as it lands in my hands. It's almost intoxicating. I dare not linger on it and throw it to the rest of his pile with a laugh. I can't help but steal a few glances, but feel a few quick looks at his teeth. His heart quickens as if I'm seeing him naked for the first time again. And I suppose I am. Alright, you ready? As you are. The wolf takes a few steps out from the fluttering shadows of the trees above us. I sense a calm seem to take him as he closes his eyes and his chest expands with a deep breath. He releases the air through parted lips and bends to a kneel, places his hands on the earth beneath him. Radiant blades of grass lapping at his wrists and feet. It happens slowly at first. His fur begins to undulate as if being lifted off the gravity of his body. Strands of his fur wrap and twist together into vines of life, spreading away from him in a vortex. Threads of green light weave and braid into the tangle. A kind of dust gently falls from them in waves like smoke from quiet embers. As the dust comes to settle on the ground, grass gives way to budding sprouts, practically glowing with life. Wildflowers of orange and yellow scatter about the earth wherever the dust touches down as glints of delicate light bounce off of them. Then from within the ephemeral tangle of vines and life, I see his skin slowly revealed as if the wolf had been draped atop him. Fur gives way to a wildfire of familiar orange hair, and in a matter of moments his torso rests bare in the sun. I watch the vines open away from him as the momentum ripples down his arms and legs. Around him, wildflowers glow and bloom in a pool of color. He pushes off from the ground, a proud smile sits on his face, the last few remaining tendrils evaporating into the breeze. Before me stands Keurig as I remember him, a man, naked, in the warmth of the waning sun. Well, there you have it. He's panting, his chest rising and falling rapidly. My heart swells at both the beauty of what I just saw and also at seeing his face again after all these years. Soren, you alright there? I realize I'm just standing there staring at him. I catch myself with a laugh and walk towards him. That was truly beautiful, Keurig. The stories tried their best, but that was... I know. I was shocked the first time I saw it, too. I always imagined it to be much more explosive as a kid, but it's actually quite pretty, right? Or at least it can be. I kneel down to the flowers at his feet, pimpernels and bird's foot flowers of the spring in the bowls. I know you did. You used to throw crushed handfuls of these in my face when we played. Amazing seeing them here, coming from you. Aye, it's all magic and wonder, ain't it? He kneels down beside me and flicks his fingers through the yellow and greens. These Moontouched have their own mantle, informed by memories and whatnot, or at least I think that's what I was told. He's panting hard, his wet pale skin drawing the auburn hair on his chest into gatherings that flow down his body in swings. You okay there? Seems that took a lot out of you. Ah, well, it did. I tried to control it for you. Slow it down to be all pretty like. He rises to stand and stretches his arms above his head, his ribs pointing towards the sky. Normally it's a bit faster, more free, but harder to see all the bits and such. Huh, well, thank you, Kirik, really. I pull him into my chest. His sweaty skin presses against mine where my clothes part. He lets out a grunt of surprise, but quickly turns into a purring chuckle. I miss you, brother. It's so good to see you. I wasn't sure it would happen again. He lets out a grunt of surprise, but it quickly turns into a purring. He lets out a grunt of surprise, but it quickly turns into a purring chuckle. I miss you, brother. It's so good to see you. I wasn't sure it would happen again. Yeah, what's that supposed to mean? Of course we'd see each other again, especially with you being moon cold and all. I hold him firmly, breathing in his familiar scent, an old friend, a new beginning, and the sense of all things constantly ending. He reaches down and taps on my ass rhythmically, ending with a squeeze. Don't hold me too tight here, brother. I'm naked after all. I feel him growing against my groin. It's tempting to say, but I loosen my hold on him, giving him a playful glare and a shake of my head. Just then we hear a familiar call. Killer's eyebrows dart up. Well, looks like it's time. You go on ahead. I'll step back and likely beat you there. Alright then. Maybe we can pick this up later, I? Let's see if you still have a place amidst all the hounds. Gosh, you look so stupid with that look of determination and the half-heart. I love it. Alright. But I have something they don't have, see? I already know how to make you beg. You'd be surprised I have longings that even you don't know about. He flashes his eyebrows playfully as we tease each other. So it's a race against the other hounds, then, I told you I'm fast. Good luck to you, brother. I go to turn away but hesitate, looking him in the eyes once again. It really is good to see you again. You too, son. I finally let go of him, turning onto the path back towards the rendezvous site. It's a short walk, but sure enough, when I get there, I see Kirik and Wolf once again, panting and gulping down his water skin. That bastard took another way back. In very obviously sprinted. He offers me the most obnoxiously proud grin from across the camp as his tail lashes about behind him. Animum stands with his gear secured to him, arms stretched out with my pack hanging from paw. You set to go there, pup. I'll stole it as we fall in line behind a trickling trail of silver bowls already making way onto the old trade road. I am. Have a good talk with Amia? He grunts through an affirmative nod. She brought me up to pace. Emerald Bow is already in the wind, and we're the last to gather here. We're set to the... Did you get the full story of the fiends? Kirik told me a little more. Sounds ominous, I did, though we'll have more time to talk about that later. Amia will need to present what she and her people witnessed to the conclave. Perhaps there's a change in the tides that the larger people will have felt as well. Interesting times we're in. Interesting indeed. I'm just grateful that you and I evaded an encounter like that. The two of us alone wouldn't have had much of a chance. Well, that makes it both of us. Kirik's face when he told me the story was haunting. Gods, I really should have gone with you to the stream. You were left unconscious and alone. That was foolish of us. Of me. If anything had happened to you. Hey, we couldn't have known. Thank you for letting me go alone, Maybe it was foolish, but you trusted me, and that means a lot. I'd sooner throw that trust to flame than to lose you. Regardless, you'll be safe to roam free and alone in the Carthros. It was safe there. His furrowed brow and still more tell me more than his curt tone. He's afraid. So how far until we reach the main camp? And clearly appreciates the change in topic, falling for my tried and true trick to stem his nerves, asking him a question. We need only climb another half an hour or so to reach the barrier. From there, it takes maybe 2 hours or so to reach LON side, the main encampment. I'll go fast. Oh, you excited? Well, it'll go fast. A rhetorical question. He knows I've been dreaming about this day for most of my life. Beyond what I thought I could be, I'm a little nervous as well. I feel like I'm walking out into unknown forests at night, breaking every twig and shouting into the darkness. I don't know what's coming next. Something horrible, something divine. And the one lets out a short laugh. That's understandable. I can say the same. Sure enough, we'll know what the wind has for the both of us. He offers an assuring pat on my back and turns to the flow of the party, moving in synchronization as we ascend to the rim of the Carthros like a gentle murmuration. We walk in silence for a while, enjoying the ambient chatter of the silver bowls as we hike together. For the past 2 weeks, it's been just Adam and I, and while the silence is something we both feel at home in, I can tell we're equally enjoying the liveliness of our new company. Soon we'll be lost in the sea of people gathered from all corners of the moon-blessed lands, moved by reverence for and devotion to the weeping wolf. They offer their all to his design. Body, mind, soul, and most of all, purpose. I rest my hand against the chill of my scar, my thoughts drifting back to what happened just a few hours ago, the creeping despair and fear. I can do this. I will become Moontouched. It's what I want more than anything else. To make something of my life, to offer that back to the weeping wolf, and to become an instrument for a design beyond my own. A swirling maelstrom of awe, trepidation, mystery, and wonder flood my heart and mind. My eyes stare vacantly at the ground as I climb the slope onto the very precipice of the expanding unknown. It's time, and with heart pounding, I'll step into it to be consumed or to be transformed. So I look. Thank you for playing the demo. Got one last tweet for you, but first, the project is made possible through the support of my patrons. Thank you all greatly. I can't say that loud enough. You made this project a reality. If you would like to support the project, please check us out here and become one of the pack. You've unlocked character profiles. Make it save here if you'd like to come back later. The forsaken, loyal, protective, and secretive Anawam has been a watchful mentor in your life since that cold black night, safe in his saddle and within a place he chose for you to call home. Two, you spent your days in utter peace until you heard the echoing call of the weeping wolf, realizing what this means for you. Anawam tries to support the choice you made, yet will his fears and shrouded past allow your relationship to stand in the light of truth. We will see beyond the protector to find the gentle heart within. Friend and lover. As a young and fresh Moontouched, Kira travels with his clan once again into the Carthos for the first time since he was bestowed. Hailing from the isolated forest of the Silver Bow groves, Kira is more than happy to indulge in the sensuality and celebrations that his austere culture doesn't normally allow. He's been it's been 6 years since you last saw him. More than just his skin has changed with time suddenly lurks underneath the playful surface with a flame that once burned between you kindle again. Swore, uh, that swore of storms, what swores, hailing from distant swords soaked in blood and war. Velv teeters on the edge of sworn deity in the quiet freedom of his longings. Elevated to status by might and blade work, his presence in the heat of battle inspires his fellow warriors as they live and die on scorched earth. Yet, underneath hardened scars and forged metal, there is a budding doubt in the heart of his champion. Even the smallest flower can piece a boulder if given time and determination, cocky and light-hearted while at rest, loyal and ruthless when called upon. Will you have the softness to seep through his armor to witness the man inside? Shores of tides, amidst the ancient roots of long dead great trees that twist and flow into the ocean's sapphire embrace. Wython's heart was of sword and splintered fragments. Through years of sturdy and devotion to druid, the druidic path, Wython was able to forge stability in his life once again. Gentle, kind, and patient, Wython can seem more a movement of nature than a man to some. But the wise know that beneath placid waves lie deeper currents thrashing in the darkness. Will he allow you close enough to tread those waters alongside him? Shores flames. Ferocity can be a blessing to those who wield it, or a curse to those who flee it. To Norkai of the northern reaches, it is simply a fact of existence. Reclusive and cold, he turned his back on family and tried to indulge in what only isolation could offer. Yet amidst the frozen wastes, a fire burns within his veins, an anger that seeks to consume all traces of light and love. Compelled to return to the Cathars, to the few friends who still tether his humanity, Narakai looms like the darkness of night itself over you. Will you have the resolve to stand your ground long enough to see the blessing or the curse? So that was a demo for Moontouched. My computer's acting pretty slow. It's kind of pausing at the end, but anyway, hope y'all enjoyed that. So, Soen is, I believe he's Moontouched, so he's destined to become a werewolf. And Anaron, the wolf that's been raising him since he was a child, at the start we know that his mother seemed to be injured, and so I'm assuming she's dead now. So Anaron had to raise Soen, and he was able to do that until he was an adult. So, which is the reason why Soen referred to him as father, even though Anaron didn't like that. He said that he wasn't that old. Okay, so and then we met Kirik. She was very excited to see him again. They were childhood friends, so he literally lifted him up in the air and hugged him. But again, he was already a wolf, and Someone's still human, so he was able to lift him easily with the strength he had. So he was very happy to see Someone, and it seemed like he even has intimate feelings for him. Like I think he kind of, maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed like he kind of loves him. But he was very happy to see him again. So kind of liking Kirik already. I like him. Alright, so we got to see the other wolves that we have not seen yet. I'm not going to say anything about them because we haven't met them yet, but I like the story so far. And the visuals are amazing. So, guess I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing while the nudity. So, thank y'all very much for watching. Bye.